Be'ezras Hashem Yisborach. Yom Chamishi leParshas Behaloscha. Shnas Tovshin Ayin Zayin. Anyway. Yeshiva Tiferes Avigdor. In this week's Parsha, there appears what seems to be a minor episode, and the Torah mentions it. The Torah says, an episode about Yisro. One day it says, Vayomer Moshe l'Chayvav ben Ruel Hamidyoni Chaysin Moshe. And Moshe Rabbeinu talks to his father-in-law Chayvav, otherwise known as Yisro. Why was he called Chayvav? Because he was Mechavev es HaTorah. He is somebody who expressed a chavivus toward the Torah. And he tells him, Noisim anachnu, we are traveling El Hamokai, to the place Asher Omar Hashem Oisoi Etei Lochem, the place which Hashem said, it I will give to you. And Moshe extends an invitation for Yisroel to come with him, to come to Eretz Yisroel. And he says, L'choi tanu, come with us, ve'itavnu loch, we will do good for you, ki Hashem diber toiv al Yisroel. And who would have thought otherwise, that Yisroel wasn't going to go with him? Surprisingly, Yisroel says to him, Vayomer Elav, he says, Loi Eilech, I shall not go. Ki el artzi ve'el moiladati Eilech. I'm going to go to my artzi and to my moladati. Rashi says that Yisro mentioned two reasons. Number one, artzi, my land, means bishvil nechosai, for my nechosim. I have stuff that I left at home. Got houses, real estate, got stuff in storage. Got to go back for that. And he says, I'm going back for El Moladati. Moladati means Bishvil Mishpacht. I want to go see them. Chazal tell us, was it a familial visit? No. The motivation here was to go and see, maybe I could be Megayer them. When you go back, now remember we're talking about a place, Yisroel was a man who was the Kohen of Midian. He was rejected. He was pushed down. They fired him from his job. He was impeached as the Pope. And he was destroyed because he rejected everything to go to Kamiyid. and now he's going back there to try to be Megayer there. So Moshe Rabbeinu tells him, Vayomer Elov Loy. So he said, Yisro said, I'm not going with you. Very strong. Vayomer, and Moshe says to him, Al no tazav son. Please. Rashi says, he said, please, Akash, please don't leave us. Why? So Rashi says, Shalo yoimru, so people should not say, Loi nisgairu Yisro mechiba. Yisro never joined the Jewish people out of love. Rather, Savur, he thought, Shahoya Shiesh Legeirim, he thought Shiesh Legeirim Chelik Ba'aretz. He thought they were going to establish a new land, so he joins the newest people in order with the thought process he's going to get a chelik in the new land. V'achshav shenira, v'achshav shera, and now that he sees she'ein lo ahem a chelik, he nicham v'holach, he left them and he went. Yeah. Now, if you look in the Chazal Farshim here, they say that Moshe Rabbeinu really told him, Al not hazov son. He really told him, don't forsake us because we still need you. That's what he told him. Lashon the Ramban is, and he said, "V'hoyisa lonu le'inayim," you'll be for us for the eyes. Ramban explains, you know the midbar. Tia lonu le'inayim, you'll be eyes for us. The kibush ha'arotzos, when we kovish the lands. V'soreinu es haderech, you'll show us the way. Asher na'leba. Hear that? So he told them, you'll serve as eyes for us. We need to give you a position of covet in this. And second, he told them, even after we come, El Hamenucha V'Anachla, and then you'll be freed up to go back to your land for your Nechasim and your family like you requested. Please don't be seduced to stay there, but you should then come back to us. Because if you don't come back to us, people are going to say that the reason why you joined us was the intention to get a piece of land. And that's why he calls him Chayvav. He says, Yisro said, Moshe said to Chayvav, you're the one who is known for his Chavivus HaTorah. You got a name, you were kind of ashamed for your Chavivus HaTorah. And you don't want to lose that shape. But Yisro said, Tkenisht. And Moshe Rabbeinu tells him, if you go with us, asher yetev Hashem imanu veitavnu lach. We're going to make sure it's going to be good for you. We'll give you a piece of something. You're not going to end up with nothing. And Yisro doesn't stay. So the Bali at Tiferes explain that Moshe pleaded with Yisro to stay. Ki al kein yodata chanoiseinu b'midbar. So some of the Rishonim say that means, like I just told you, chanoiseinu b'midbar, you know the way in the midbar, you know the lands. Yisro was a major macher in Mitzrayim, so he was a knowledgeable person of all the Aratzos. He knew the ways of the midbar, and that's what he told him. But the Balei Tosfos says different. Balei Tosfos says, "Ani mechale panecha, I beseech you, go with us, because you know everything that we experienced. You saw the nisim and the gvuras that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for us, and you're going to be for us as eyes. What does that mean? You're going to you're going to be for us for eyes. So the Behaloscha said like this: Sheharoyim oisam imanu, people who see you with us, Yoimru will say, Lo Azav es artzoi ve'esna. He would have never forsaken all his eretz and all his family and joined the Bnei Yisroel unless he chapped the matziv of the greatness and the idea of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the toivah sha'asa la'amli. You know what he says? Behaloscha tells us a noydik chiddush. He says, you know, the Klal Yisroel and the Midbar, they themselves were the recipients of the Yad HaGedolah of Hashem. But when they saw that Yisro forsook all his greatness, and he left his land, left his religion, and he joined the Am Yisrael, the Hayisa Lonu Leinayim, you were for us our eyes. You gave us eyesight. You clarified for us. You gave us a Behirus. You were mayor. You shed light, a new Or Chadash in this matter. That means Klal Yisro made a Sazach. If this Oral Yisro, this Shegitz, this Pope, Midian, who didn't see with his own eyes the miracles that Hashem did. He didn't see the Kriyas Yamsuf. He didn't see the Melchem Yisrael. He heard about it. He was Shama. And still in all, he came, it was Mashpiyah, such as on him. He became a Megayer. So you should know that the Bnei Yisroel that heard and saw and witnessed to all this, surely it has to be Mashpiyah on him. It's a portion of Mavel Dikarai Dikazach. Yeah? I always say over that the first time I decided to be Makar of somebody, try my hand to see if I would have Siyati Deshmaya to be able to convince somebody of Yiddishkeit. I remember speaking it over with some of my people that I knew. And I asked them, what do you think about this? And they said, listen, very hard to convince somebody of Yiddishkeit. Look at Unser Menschen itself. We're not so excited about Yiddishkeit. If the frum people themselves don't act so excited and so passionate about Yiddishkeit, so how are you going to go convince somebody else out there to be passionate about it? So I decided to give my hand at, try my hand at it. And I remember being amazed at being able to take a person who was established, successful. As Ada told me, in order to know if you're able to be makar of somebody, find somebody, number one, who's successful. Because if he's not successful, he's a lo yutzlach, and you're makar of him, the Kiruv is not an indication that he saw the emes. It could be he thinks you're giving him free l'chaim. There are some groups that they offer you shots, vodka shots. They're famous for that. No, there are people that like vodka. So I remember we had a fellow that once came here, one of these nebishes, and he asked me, "You got any shots?" I said, "We don't do shots." I said, "What do you mean?" I went to someplace else. Before davening, they gave shots. What came before davening? Middle of davening, after davening, his impression was shots. I say, here we don't work on shots. I would suggest you go back there, looking for shots. Now, I remember my Shliita told me, find somebody who's established, climbing the ladder, has a good social group, a family. But if he doesn't have a family, he's a lo yutzlach and family and parnos and this, it's avat puli b'davar. He's going to go with you till tomorrow. He finds a good job and goodbye. He'll find a wife tomorrow. You goodbye. So I started to look for people like that, and I realized that was very tough to do kiruv in that situation, because people like that weren't interested. How do you sell a person has a family, just built himself a home, is paying a nice mortgage, has a nice job, working hard to enjoy his life? You can't sell him anything. So my Zayda said, that's going to be the siman if you really have what to sell. And I remember being amazed that it would work. I said, wow, could you believe people actually become frum? You tell them something, you educate them, you give them knowledge they didn't have before, and they mamish make changes in your life. How is it possible? And I always used to think, I wonder if I was on the other side, and some frum guy would meet me and tell me I have something to sell you. Would I listen? I remember thinking I would definitely be a kind of person that would be intrigued to hear what a person has to say. But I asked family members, how about you? Nah, I would not be interested. I would definitely see something new, something interesting about my life. I would like to hear from somebody told me that's what to sell. I'm open to hear new things. But what it did was, when I saw somebody becoming frum, it made such a reishim on me. When I saw how ehrlich they were, and I saw how they took to Yiddishkeit, it made Yiddishkeit so much more real to me, and so much clearer to me. It's amazing. And I believe that that's one of the reasons why HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought around the Baal Tshuva movement. It was to inspire, to kick the frum people in the guts. Because I remember when people became frum, the average Joe Pliny, the average frum Jew, when he heard a guy came frum, know what he said? His first words out of his mouth? You know? He said, gotta be Meshiggah. He's gotta be nuts. Nobody normal becomes frum. It was such a weird thing. You never heard such a thing. I remember there was one of the first Bali Tshuva came from Russia once. A guy came with the chief Rav of Moscow, and he came to America. He was a major physicist, a world famous scientist, and he became frum. It was like mind-boggling. People spoke, what's it shaykh? A guy is intelligent. Guy's intelligent. How did he come from? Intelligent don't come from. Never is. Oh, if you're born like that, that's how you are. I never heard that this Yisroel is an embassy Yisroel. Moshe Rabbeinu told Yisroel, stay with us. You are our eyes. People say if the Pope of Midian heard about this stuff, and he went to come investigate, and he joined the Jewish community, joined the Jewish Am Yisrael, he's impressed. No. There's a Noydik Medrash. Amr Reb Shimon Lakish. Reb Shimon Lakish says, Chaviv Hager Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch. Parshas Lech Lecha, Parshas Tchum. Chaviv Hager Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch. The ger is more chaviv to Hashem min oison uchlesen, from those masses, those multitudes, sha'amdu al Har Sinai, who stood at Har Sinai. You know why? Lama. Shekol oison uchlesen, all those multitudes, ilule, if not for the fact that they saw the kolos, the lapidim, the Brokim, the Horim, Royashim, the Koil HaShefres, Lo Kiblu Aleim Malchus Shemayim. They never were Mekabel Malchus Shemayim. V'zeh, this ger, Lo Yro Echad Mikulam, he didn't see one thing. Ubo Umashlim Atzmei, he comes and perfects himself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He becomes one with Hashem. The Kibul of Oil Malchus Shemayim. Yesh Chaviv Mizeh Maisa. Is there anything more Chaviv, anything more Sheder than Azam Maisa? Rabbeinu Bechaya brings down also such as that. Gedolim Geirim. Bisman Azeh, greater than the Yisroel that were under Har Sinai. You know what that is? You don't have this. And every time I've met somebody, in the beginning, every time I met a Baal Teshuvah, I remember he's questioning him, drilling him. Can I have some moments with you? I want to talk to you. I remember asking him, tell me, why would you become from? You had the time of your life. You could do everything. You were chavshim and amitzvah. You were free. Why did you become from? And I used to listen. Most of them didn't have what to say. Most of them, even if after I heard their teretz, I was amazed that they became from, because nothing major. I met Kiruv. I said, "What happened? What was the? When did you hear the explosion? What was it?" Stop. I met some people. I met some this, met some that. I had a guy who was very close to. I said, "How did you become from?" He said, "Tell me the story." He said, "I'll tell you. It wasn't that hard." I went with a couple of friends of mine to Eretz Yisrael, to Israel, on an archaeological dig. And we're digging, a summer. We were all goyim. Some of us were Jews, but we act like goyim with totally no affiliation. Nothing to do with Israel, Eretz Yisrael. And we were digging this thing in the summer. We spent the summer there. And one Friday night, we asked, where's the place to go? We were in Yerushalayim. And somebody said, the action is by the Kotel. That's where you go Friday night. That's what action is. Otherwise, Yerushalayim is a dead. So they figured, I'll check it out. So they walk down, they check it out, see lots of folks. They're looking around. They don't know anything. And all of a sudden, the guy taps him on the shoulder. And he turns to his friend. And he says to his friend, "Are you Jewish?" The friend says, "Yes." He says, "Prove it to me." He starts asking him all kind of questions. And his friend was Jewish. He turns to you and says, "You," and I don't have to ask, "You look Jewish." The problem is, because he wasn't Jewish. He said, "Okay, you two guys are going to Mattersdorf. This is the address. They're waiting for you." They walked 45 minutes from here to Mattersdorf. And I'm eating in this guy's house. I know the guy was. He was a travel agent, actually. They're sitting in his house and they're having a nice time. The food was good. And they're speaking. The guy did that. He tells them, "You know what? Next week, come back again." "Okay, we'll check it out next week." They come back next week. Now, I was more interested than my friend was. My friend wanted the food, and I was interested. The conversation was interesting to me. So the second week, they gave me benching. They gave me the bench. He said, "I wasn't sure if I do this ritual, and then afterwards they find that I'm a guy, they're going to kill me." But after benching, I told the guy nice. I said, "I want to just make you aware. I'm not really part of the tribe. I'm not part of the Am Yisrael. But I really enjoy you. I appreciate your hospitality. I'm very nice. Your food's great." He said, "Okay, keep coming." That's how we became from. I said, "That was it? Don't gefilte fish?" Do you remember anything I said? Anything chachmas? Did he show you any proofs? Did he give you any urgent? Gosh, that's how he became from. I said, "Shrek, I wish I was a real estate salesman when you were around. I think I can tell you anything, you know what I mean?" But it's amazing how so many people don't have any great mice. But I was involved with people who were hoch, megushim, hoch, spitz, olam hazeh, successful. And we had fights. We engaged in battles. We fought chess games. the swords clanged, and sometimes we were angry, sometimes we were smiling, sometimes it was intense, and you saw a person you're fighting, you feel you're fighting with another yid, and you're trying to convince him, educate him, and how you do it. And I see them change. And I used to say to them afterwards, are you really convinced? And I can't tell you how much chizuk it gave me. And that's what a person has to know. That when you see somebody who's a Baal Tshuva, who's an intelligent person, and the person had everything in the world, and they chose to become frum. You know what that tells me? You're eyes for us. You give us clarity. That's a tremendous thing. That's step number one. Step number two is he tells him, don't leave. Don't forsake us. Don't go away. Now the shaila was, what was the shakla of Atari? So the Chazal tell us an interesting thing. That when Moshe said, don't go, he said, you know why you think you're going? Kasovor ato. You think. He told his shver. Papichke. He told. You thinking, Kasovor ato laharbois kvayt shemayim. Yisro told Moshe, the reason why I'm going is laharbois kvayt shemayim. I'm going to bring people to Yiddishkeit. I'm going to be melamed them, the gadlus, the floyas haboirei. You should know, Eincha elo mimayit. You're going to be mimayit kvayt shemayim. You're going to diminish kvayt shemayim. Means, and the Mefarshim explain, if you go with us, you'll have a bigger hashpah on kvayt shemayim than if you go to your place. What's the pshat? So there's a number of pshat. Pshat number one is, what is a greater thing? To be makarev someone who's frum, to become frumer, or to be makarev someone who's less frum, to become a little knowledgeable? What's better? Is it better to take a person who's not frum at all and make him a little frum, or to take a person who's frum and make him frum? So my Rebbe told me, without a doubt, his father held, make somebody frumer is much bigger mitzvah. And to make somebody, he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would rather have one frum person, 100% frum, than have 100,000 people that are partially frum. Lighting Shabbos candles, big mitzvah. Eating Friday night dinners, nice thing. Even maybe one thing not doing on Shabbos, something I think a little shmir Shabbos, but not 100%. Hashem would rather one Jew from her. Moshe Rabbeinu tells him, the Visazine, if you go where you're going, you're not going to be marbe as much kvayt shemayim as you are right over here. That's what he told him. This is the interesting insight. Because you being among us, and causing Klal Yisroel to steig, and to have more kvayt shemayim, that's going to be great. And then he told Menachah Shtikl. The Rambam says, Derech briyosei shalodam, the derech habriya, the way Hashem created a human being, liyos nimshach, he is drawn b'deyosav u'b'maisav achareyav v'chaveirav v'noyheg keminig anshe midinas. Now the Rambam is telling us there are two things that impact on a person. Reyav v'chaveirav, that's through your friends and your acquaintances, they have a hashpah on you, whether you want or you don't want. And how do they have the hashpah? By their interactions. You show me a person who's yeshiva bach, but his reyav, the chaveirav, are bums, the guy is a shtick schmutz. Can't the otherwise. That's the derech briyos shalom. It's not shy. People say, I can do both. I don't have a steam. I don't have a conflict. You know a conflict? Because you like them with a yamak, that's all you are. You know difference. It's not shaykh. And Ram doesn't say, al piroi, derech briyosei. This is the bria of a mensch. The Rambam says even more than that. He says a person is influenced by anshe midinosei. Now, Monoshach, what's the chiddush in the Rambam over here? Are they rei of a chaveirav or not? Know what the Rambam's saying here? Even if they're not rei of the chaveirav, you're a kind of guy, you have no kesher with the Americans. You have no kesher with Sabris. You're a yeshiva bach. But a mensch is noye ka'anshe midinosa. That's how a mensch is. That's how Hashem created a person. You pick up stuff. It means it's almost like it's like magic. You know why? It means you pick up stuff without having any personal kesher or any personal interaction. I remember at a time in my life when I had friends that weren't good for me. But I decided to take it up a notch. I was going to climb the ladder, and I didn't know how to reject my friends. So I tried to tell them nicely, by the way, boys, I made a decision. I'm going up. They said, Brog, the day you go up, I'll believe it when I see it. I said, boys, I made a decision. I said, don't hamper me, please. I was thinking that if I would tell them that, I would actually get some covet from them. They would say, oh, wow, that's impressive, that's great, kol kavod. You want to go? Yeah, take off. Nah, that's a rei of a chaveirav. When the rei of a chaveirav are down in the pits, they want everybody to stay in the pits with them. They don't want you to go up and they stay down. They never like that. It's like you have groups of people who are older singles. And when somebody gets married, they reject them in a terrible way. You think they'd be happy for them. How dare you get married? You leave us alone. You're my friend. We have a chevra here. We're a unit. Okay. So I saw it wasn't going to work. So I decided on my own that I had to do something to make them on my rei of the chaveirav. So I tried to put on a tie. I thought I'll wear a tie every day, make myself look a shtickle more yeshivish. Maybe that will do it. But all they did was make fun of me. So I remember telling the head of the group, I called him outside, I said, let me tell you something, my friend. We've been buddies for a long time. You get in my face. I want to tell you something. I've decided I want to climb the mountain. Just forget that I existed. If you're going to get at my face, I'm telling you, the tongue that's in your mouth is not going to stay there that long to be able to wag it at me. Understand my message? Just forget that I exist. And from that day on, they became ois reyai v'chaveirei. I realize it's not shaykh otherwise. It's not shaykh. Because you're mekusha with them. You're bound with them. It's to break away, it's very difficult. But there's another side. There's anshe minik midosei. You don't go to public school, you go to yeshiva, you go to this, but you live in America. So you pick up American culture and this is what you accept. This is what you think American. You think Israeli. You think like a Goyish Israeli. You think like a Goyish American. It's what it is. It's terrible. It's Anshim Minik Midinasa. It's derech V'yosha Shalom. So what does a person do? I once heard from HaRav at the show, he didn't have a clear riot to it, but he held that if a person will bond with very good re'im v'chaverim, he could be moitzi himself from the Medina that he is. He says it's possible for a person to become takua in the Beis HaMedrash, in the Yeshiva Shebelt, with his chaverim, to the degree that it becomes ois American. He's not an American. She says. He held like that. And a person has to understand that this is what Moshe Rabbeinu was telling Yisro. He said, Yisro, you came to live with us. You came with us. You joined us. We are now your achaverai. We are your re'ai v'chaverai. We are your minig, anshe minig medinosai. How do you think you're going to go back to where you came from and you're going to be marbek kvoit shemayim? Don't you realize that if you go back to where you are, where you came from, you're going to go down. You're going to go down and you're going to become influenced. You know what else we find this in the Torah? Exact same thing we find in the Torah somewhere else. By Lot. Lot left Avram. And Lot went to Stein. You know why Lot went to Stein? So really, Lot said his kavanah to go to Stein. Stein was the worst of the worst. They were anti-chesed like nobody's business. Lot appreciated chesed. He never had a problem with chesed of Avram. He became a dugma of chesed of Avram. He said, I'm going to go there, I'm going to mashpia in Lot, I'm going to mashpia in Sodom, the chesed. Yeah, and he told him, Al na'achai tarei, he gave him Musar, he told him, my brothers, he called the Stoimites his brothers, don't be bad, don't do schlechts. But Chazal say that within that kavanah l'shem shemayim, he also liked the fact there was chemdas hamamim over there. There was a certain lifestyle. He liked to do Kiruv in Beverly Hills. That's it. So what was the chilik between Lot and Avram? So the Michtav Melio writes that the chilik was as follows. Avram brought people under his umbrella. He brought people to his home. He brought them into his inns, to his motels, his free lunch places. They came within his boundaries, and then he went and mashpiyah them. Whereas Lot left Avram, and he went to settle in Sodom. And he discovered, instead of teaching them, he was learning from them. And this is what we have to know, is what Avram told, Moshe Rabbeinu told Yisro, your cheshbon is not wrong. So you're going to be mayat kvoit shemay. The Yisro that you could be with us in Klal Yisro, with us in Eretz Yisrael, is much greater than the Yisro you could be if you went back to your place. Each and every one of us, Baruch Hashem, is in a yeshiva. When a person is in a yeshiva, he doesn't begin to fathom in the slightest, minutest amount what it's like to live in Olam Haba. You don't understand what it means to be in a place that's sogur and mesugur, and where the influences of the world are minimal. Places where the Torah is paramount. Striving for Torah, being frumer, being a bigger Talmud Chacham is a greater thing, more covet. You go out into the world, into any neighborhood, a frum neighborhood. Sadly, being frummer will get you a name as a chanyuk. It will earn you a name as a greaseball. It will name you a name. It will get you a name as a frumak. You have money? Money talks. Money talks. Money screams. Money dances. In the frum world, the rich guy saunters in. The guy's nama Oretz government deraisa can't rub 2 pages together in the Rambam. The guy doesn't know a thing that he learned. Is mamish a groba ama Oretz sheikh. But he has cash in the bank. Or azay zok. That guy covered. Now, if he's rich and he learns a few minutes also a day, then the guy gets covered malach. Then the guy mamish melach while he's right sidekick of Hashem. Now, what hashpah does that have in a person? Here's a fellow who just moved out from here not long ago. He asked me if I'm smart to move out. I told him if you have to ask that question, it shows you're not smart. I told him, what kind of stupid question is that? To move from a Mokim Torah where your Yiddishkeit demands support. You need life support. You don't stand on your own 2 legs yet. You're not strong enough. You know yourself, I know you. What do you have such a question for? I'm going to a good place, it's a good block, it's a good neighborhood. So the guy calls me up now, a few months later. Tells him, Rebbe, it's interesting. I'm the only one in shul on Shabbos. I said, what does that mean? He said, I go Shabbos afternoon to the shul. You trained us over here. I was in Shabbos afternoon in shul. I came. At 3:30 I was there. He was a 3:30 guy. He said 3:30. He said, by 4:30, I'm tight. There's not a neshama. I don't see a Yiddish neshama. I said, when does the first people roll in? They roll in for the early mincha. I said, when's the early mincha? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. That's early mincha. Should you have an idea for me what I should do? I told the guy, you moved to a place. That's a simple difference. What happened to all your neighbors who are so frum? What happened to all your neighbors who even have beards? Where are those bearded people? Don't they have shuls they hide, or they all earn their basements? What do they do on Shabbos? For that alone, you have to be a meturif midaitcha. To go away from a mokim Torah, you have to have lost your senses. And I told him, tell me, are your kids being exposed to what? He says, my son's joining the Jewish leagues for baseball. I said, all your neighbors, your frummer neighbors. You told me you had a very good block. And it's like that, so on and so forth. I had a Talmud used to come learn us Monday night. And the Talmud used to live here. Then they moved away. It was too much for them here. For the wife, when she lived here, this place was too frum for them. And they moved to the more modern side of town. Shockingly, the guy comes to me like 7 months ago. He wants to move into the more simpler part of town. I said, are you getting divorced? What's happening? Now we're talking about somebody that the Kiddush cups in their house that they used were football glasses. And when somebody mentioned to me, and I called the wife and said, maybe suggest that the football glasses you save for Malav Malka and not for the Kiddush, she says, oh no, that's my covered Shabbos though. I think you need a refuah shleima. Covered Shabbos is to use a football glass to Kiddush Rabbah on Shabbos. I mean, so you see where we're talking about. We have somebody who's clueless. Okay, I don't blame him, who's clueless. People that say this, He tells me, he said, my wife decided this neighborhood is way too modern. I said, modern? You got kailal in there, people are moving in there. My wife said, she wants to move back to Wycliffe. I said, to Wycliffe? Well, we decided we're going to move back to the other side of town. I go, that's the Chay's Darga. I said, let me talk to her. Tell her to call me. I hadn't spoken to her for quite a while already. And she called me. I said, what happened? She said, I realized this is not Yiddishkeit. This is not what we would do. It's a different kind of Yiddishkeit. It's unbelievable. You go to the shuls Shabbos afternoon, the Rav can't. I told her this young man who called me up, go to your Rav and tell him you want to start a shir before Mincha, an hour before Mincha, you should make a chabur to learn. See what the Rav? No, the Rav tells him, the Rav's a tzaddik. The Rav tells him, no one's going to show up. I said, we're talking about Balabatisha Amratzim, who don't learn Torah a whole week. They come from Shmayo's village. They come from his mindset that Shabbos is made for Shina b'Shabbos timing. And they never heard of the Shnit Shabbos of Uslas Lasik B'Tayr. They don't want to hear about it. And they push it, don't show up for a fool. It was once in the modern neighborhood. A Rav there in the good old days. He told me, what is it? He says, I have 4 people in my shir that I give Shabbos afternoon, late afternoon. And all those 4 people are your Talmidim. He said, what is the pshat? And you want to know what it's like living in not in a Makom Torah. You think if a person goes from yeshiva to there, he's not going to shed his Yiddishkeit. Oh, maybe he'll still have his jacket and his car sometime. You think you lose your hat quickly. You find polo shirts quicker. You come into shul in sandals sometimes. You think, wait, are you in yeshiva? What happened to you? You're mushba. But you went like Kvoid Shemayim. My wife wanted to go. Kvoid Ishti. The guy's makban in the Rambam, he mechaber his wife more than himself. What are you hakat shining? You sacrifice, you compromise your Yiddishkeit. That's what a person has to understand. Al notazev eisana. Think about this. When a person moves away from yeshiva, I don't care what his cheshbon is, cheaper housing, he got HUD. The Yisro is setting you up for failure and destruction. That's what he's doing. And a person falls into this trap, chas v'shalom. There was once a balabos who wanted to move to the yeshiva here. And the guy was handling with the yeshiva for a piece of land. They wouldn't sell him the land. They didn't want to sell a land. They didn't want to have a balabos should have a tfisa in the land of the yeshiva. But they're willing to give him a 99-year lease. That's the willing to give. And this guy was a balabos that came to learn in the yeshiva a half a day every day. He was a very erlich balabos. Learned the whole first aid in the yeshiva. It was considered a chelik from the yeshiva. He had a job. And he called my Zayda. And my Zayda laughed at him, he told me. He said, I can't imagine you'll ever be zoicha to live in a Makom Torah. That's reaching too far and too high. So the fellow said, I think I have it in the bag. I think I already handled it. Then he tells it to me. I said, I want you to know something. If my Zayda told it to you, it's not going to work. You better start fasting Tanesim, and you better start saying Tillim, because I'm telling you, you're not going to be Zeichel. I said, I don't know if you noticed, but all the traffic is going in the other direction. People are moving away from the yeshiva. You think you're going to be Zeichel to move to the yeshiva? And the guy had so many ikuvim that came up in his way. One ikuv after another ikuv after another ikuv. And the B'Saif, he didn't make it. And he tried. He wanted to defy my Zayda. He was willing to accept whatever difficulties and hardships they put on him. Wasn't there? People don't realize it. And when you come to the next world, Eilam Haba, that's what Eilam Haba is about. They don't have modern neighborhoods in Eilam Haba. The modern neighborhoods are the hot ones. Deep down south, they call it, where the heat is very, very warm. That's where they have the large estates. A lot of greenery down there. That's where you don't learn on Shabbos. That's where you don't learn the weekdays. I say, every one of us is going to have this challenge. Remember Moshe Rabbeinu's words, Al natazav etzanu. Don't leave us. It'll be go with us. It'll be taifi. And you turn with such little shmekel against people. So I'm not going to buy here. I need my house. I need an Eruv. I need you out of your mind. For an Eruv, you're going to be makriv your whole name, your whole family. You're going to be makriv for an Eruv. I mean, crazy. You're going to sacrifice your family for an Eruv. I can live in a Mokum Torah. People don't understand that. You don't get it. There's a reason why in yeshivas they don't have Eruvs.
What's the reason?
Well,